So what's up, YouTube? I haven't done any updates in a while. I figured I'd give you guys a little insight what's been going on. Um, well, this thing's blown up again, but it was kind of to be expected. I I ended up putting the old 5.3 back in because, well, I trashed the 4.8. And it was my own fault because what ended up happening was I ended up getting a cam stuck in there. I don't know if you guys can see. It's out now, but it spun some bearings. Camshaft is chilling over here. Ended up spinning two bearings. And man, it trashed this brand new cam. You can see there's one, there's the other. Try and make it focus a little better. But either way, I don't know if I'm going to run it. It still seems like it could be okay, but, I might just order a new one. So this motor now has a broken piston somewhere, because I found part of it in the turbo just before the turbine housing. It was actually stuck in some oil because it was blowing by so bad. I guarantee it probably butted a ring land or something, or butted a ring. But either way, at this point, I ended up scoring today another 5.3 that I got to go pick up, hopefully this weekend. And I got it for $200, so it's got like 280,000 miles on it, and I'm just gonna let it eat. Put a cam in it, the oil pump out of this one, and pretty much stamp all this shit back on there and let it eat. We'll see how it turns out then. But in the meanwhile, I'm also building a new turbo hot side for this. So that's what I got over here on the 4.8. And gonna experiment with chopping up a stock manifold. I chopped the flange off. I'm gonna put like a turnout and then have the turbo on the side here, and then it'll actually have a crossover go underneath the car instead of having all that bullshit heat up front. So once I do that, I'll end up putting it back on the road and everything. And tonight I started working on. I got discouraged. I didn't feel like really working on it, but started putting on the stainless lines. I got new brakes, new booster, a little reman booster. I got some ceramic pads and a new proportioning valve. So I already did the back brakes. That's got 7/8 wheel cylinders, and I ended up buying two sets of shoes, and I put two long pads on each of the drums. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully I've got enough that with the stainless lines and the new booster and everything, I could actually brake boost this thing. Because before, the back brakes didn't really work, even after I changed the shoes. But booster's been toast for a while. So I ended up I do all that. We'll see if I can actually get some boost on the line, because before I couldn't push it over like $2,000 before it'd spin the tires. And it was pretty much like I had a line lock. The rears just like really never worked. Other than that, I've been doing some welding. Got a new TIG welder. Got an AHP Alpha TIG. This thing's pretty sweet for the money. If you're looking for a cheap TIG welder, this is the way to go. Got a new sander. And been messing around with welds, kind of messing around with some walking the cup there, zoom in on it a little bit. That's probably the better of them. The top ones was where I was trying to figure out the technique, but doing some aluminum welding. I ended up, I don't think it turned out half bad. A little heavy on the filler, but eventually I'll get better at it, I'm pretty much teaching myself. Built a catch can just for their shits and giggles. because I had some stuff laying around. Still got to put fittings on it, but you know, other than that, that's pretty much about it. So we get some stainless stuff. I got some stuff set up for back purging and whatnot, so I can actually like correctly weld the stainless merge or turn downs on it, because I'm just going to get some of the 90-degree butt welds. I mean, the most common thing everybody seems to use, and you really can't beat the price. So plus, like, I'm ready to get rid of all this. It was fun while it lasted, but it's not really the most efficient way to do it. And I'll reuse a little bit of it, probably for the crossover underneath the car and shit like that. But, you know, wastegate will come off over here. Turbo will be mounted like right in this area and won't take up all my wheel well space. And the other problem I was having too was with this 4-inch downpipe. I was actually hitting the bottom of it with the tire when the suspension was at full travel. So, you know, it would pretty much do that like under braking or whenever I got off of it, and it would like the front end. This car's so loose, you know, it's so wore in from all the years of driving it and whatnot, that it would just sink the front end and then rub the tire on the downpipe. Like, it literally did that the first night I got done with it. So, but other than that, later on down the road, this thing probably will be going away because I'm just ready for a new project. So I'm in the hunt for a single cab short bed Silverado, something like in the 2003 range. And then I'm going to build a custom lock for that and do a turbo swap on it and everything. Do a stock ECU probably in that, if I don't end up getting a Mega Squirt for cheap. But other than that, that's really all that's been going on. You know, taking all the new subscribers and everything. Appreciate you guys. And, you know, keep following. I'll try and keep updates as slow as it's going. Money's been tight and whatnot, so it's kind of hard to work on your junk whenever you're freaking paying bills. But, alright guys. Thanks. Later.